Okay, children. So, another important topic behind the chapter of The Boy Who Saved Holland. On page number 60, we have the word class. Now, what is word class? When a particular word is grouped under a class, okay, according to the grammatical rules of our language, that is particularly called word class. Okay. Henrik knew that the trickle could become a roar. So if we consider the word roar over here, we come to know that it is a noun. Roar over here is basically acting as a noun. Okay, behind the walls of the dike, the sea roared widely. Okay, so over here, the same word is kind of having an action. It's acting. So basically, it's a verb. Okay, so we can identify the particular word with the help of how it is used in the sentence. Okay, the word alone cannot tell us the word class. You have to see the way it is used in the sentence. We can identify the word class of a word when we see how it is used in a sentence. However, if the word is new to us, or it is not in a sentence, we can use a dictionary to identify its word class. So basically, whenever you have confusion with regard to understanding a particular word, how it is used in the language, how we can use it in speaking, then probably we should open a dictionary and check the word class. Okay, for example, if we take the word mouse, okay, so mouse is the word over here. The second thing, this is the kind of presentation we get when we open a dictionary, whether it's a hard copy or we open it online. Then we will see this is the way it is demonstrated. There is the word, the way it is pronounced, what word class it belongs to. So word class is basically specified, the third in category, that what category it belongs to. Over here, the word class is noun. Mouse is a noun. By C, they mean that it is a countable noun. Okay, it can be counted. Okay, then we have the plural form of it and the various meanings of it. So here, two meanings are highlighted: the animal and also the equipment of the computer. Okay, so in this way there are several other words which are listed on page number 60, and you are required to look into your dictionary and search the word class of the particular word. I want you all to attempt this exercise on your own, and then if you find it difficult, you can definitely consult the PDF that I have attached. Okay, now the next thing that the chapter includes is personal letter. Okay, an informal letter. You all have had an experience of writing informal letters in your previous class also. So let's brush it up a little bit, right? So when we are writing a personal letter, children, the first thing that comes about is the sender's address. That is your address. Okay, so when we write our address, then after that we leave space. Okay, after leaving space, the second thing that comes into the letter is the date. Okay, we mention the date and then we leave space again and we have the greeting to the receiver. Okay, so it can be over here they are addressing the grandfather, grandpa. Okay, so whoever you are writing the letter to, you can address in a personal format by saying dear or dearest grandpa. Okay, then we have an interesting opening paragraph. Okay, when you're writing an interesting opening paragraph, by interesting they mean it should be eye-catching. It should be so pleasing that you want to read the letter ahead. Okay, so over here the example that they've given for the introductory paragraph is, I'm so happy I'm coming to stay with you for a month. I just can't wait for next weekend. I love the winter break because I can be with you. Okay, so as soon as the grandfather will open this letter, he will be so excited just reading the introduction. He will be so happy that, okay, he's looking up to the vacation that's coming up, and the child is equally excited. Okay. The next thing is the body of the letter. Now this is very important, children. After leaving a space, you have the body of the letter where you will be mentioning all the information that you want to specify, that you want to particularly do something with, any activity you want to do with the grandfather, or any other place that you want to visit with him, or you want to tell him something important, convey any message. Then all this will come in the body of the letter. Let's study what we have got over here. I have to tell you about an interesting incident. Okay, so an incident is being explained over here. There was a little leak in the dike and I helped our villagers to plug it in time. I'm so happy. I'll tell you all about it when I come there. I'm wondering if you will take me fishing this time. You promised that when I'm all grown up, you will take me to the sea with you. I'm big now. So it seems that the child is relating some incident of the past and is also looking up to some important event in future where they could do something together. Okay, this is the body of the letter. Then we have an interesting closing. So we have an opening over here, now a closing. Now closing will generally have some kind of a message, some kind of kind of a promise or some kind of an important thing that will basically leave a pleasing information to the receiver. Please tell Rob and Lola that I'm coming. So that's a message. It will be such fun to walk on the dike all the way to Klinkenberg. Okay, now finally we have the complimentary closing subscription, that is see you soon, your lovingly, and signature, basically your name. Okay, so this is the format. We will be revising it by doing it ourselves. So on page number 61 you have a topic for the letter. I want you all to write it on your own. In case you find it difficult, then you will be considering the example that I have shared with you all. Okay, thank you children.